Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. And here on that mission of talking about liberation, talking about freedom, talking about joy of life. And to that end, I think my subject today will be, or at this moment will be, redistribution of the wealth. You know, when you hear me talk about heaven on earth, stuff like that, what else could it mean except a redistribution? So, but just so you can get a good understanding of where I'm coming from, let me share something with you. You know, the Congress of the United States, I'm going to kind of talk about the United States just a little bit. And when I speak of the United States, consider that I'm speaking not only of the United States, but I'm speaking about the world in general, but more specifically, the United States. We have a process that there are certain institutions that are established that has to do with the life struck of people. And so we spend a little bit more time trying to make sure that these people are protected from whatever might be threatening to them. And I'm basically referring to the government. We have the Congress, who those positions that are that sensitive, they vet people to make sure that these people understand what the Constitution and what America is about and what their positions would require of them, and based upon who they are, can they meet and qualify. Now, you expect that to be honored when people are being vetted. But we know that the Congress has vetted the Senate. The Congress has vetted the Supreme Court. And the Congress has vetted certain ones of the Department of Justice. Obviously, the president. Now, these people are being vetted because, according to the system that is established, it wants to protect we the people from some egregiousness that might come from any of these individuals that are wanting to be placed in this position of authority. But what happens when you get the Senate? You vet them. Well, you don't really vet the Senate. The Senate gets vetted by the people. But when you get in certain positions, you expect people to hold to a certain standard, whether they are vetted or not, especially in the public position representing we the people. Private stuff, private. We the people, public. And here we are, watching a person who has taken an oath. And I'm just going to use it, ladies and gentlemen, just listen to me. Taking an oath that's going to protect you the people. You know what the presidential oath is. And this guy comes in as crooked as a crook can be, but that's no mystery because everybody knew he was a crook on his way in. But as people have dissected this thing about why people allowed that to happen, it said people were tired of the status quo. They were tired of the two particular parties coming in saying they were going to do this and going to do that and never came through. So they were going to try something that was different. And if it happened to be the devil, if the devil was bold enough to stand up, then give the devil a shot. And so it appears that that's what America did. America gave the devil a shot. And the devil got about the devil's business of turning America into just a place of evilness, changing those people who had taken oaths, changing those people who you had trusted to be fair and just, turn them into complete liars. That's what the devil did. I guess the people say, well, God had never done anything for us. The world is full of gods. Methodist gods, Baptist gods, Jehovah's Witness gods, every kind of God. And the world just going on to hell, so let's try the devil. Anyway, we found out the devil wasn't any better than the status quo. In fact, the devil seemed to be a little worse because it changed people. I mean, the people bought into that gravy train just like any hound dog. And so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We got the people saying we don't want this president, and you got the Senate not caring about you, the people. Now, you know, we don't know what the motivation is. Are they threatened? Because they could be. Are they being bought? Because they could be. Or are they just representative of what's being done? Could be. But nevertheless, you the people, regardless of what the excuse is, are being had. So they give the man back to the country, gives them more time to spread the evil around, but they want the support of the people. This is what the people want, so they're trying to stay in power. They give the people what the people want, that portion of the people, as Republicans. Well, you see what happened with that. Guy get a chance to spread all kinds of lies. But then just think about this. Let's jump away from that for a minute. Just think about the Supreme Court. They got vetted. Now there are some precedents that's been set up. They have some kind of standards that they kind of attach to those precedents. And apparently it is sort of important to the functioning of the system. And so when these guys come in, have been nominated for a position, and they come in, they get vetted, and the Congress asks them these questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Well, here's some things that we got said, and we expect these things to continue because they continue for so long. Well, you feel about that? Well, we feel just like you feel. And as soon as they get in there, you find out they were liars. Straight up liars. Straight up liars. What do you do about that? What do you think you should do about a liar? A liar has no business holding positions of power. A liar has no business holding a position of authority. How can you trust in a liar? I'm asking you, how can you trust in a liar? Donald Trump, the #1 lying president we ever had. And everybody said, let's bring him back, give him another shot. You guys are asking for Satan to come in here and kick you in your butt. But you don't have to. No, you don't have to. Look at the Department of Justice, Garland. You wonder why Biden made him the Attorney General. Look what he's doing. He's allowing this evil menace to ramrod all across the country, to ramrod across the world. Even though, yes, some of his ugliness is making people say, well, he's a little distasteful now. Maybe I should kind of spit him out a little bit. But at the same time, he's still spreading it, still spreading it. And these are not just going into place, especially when you got the opposition, when you got the Democratic Party, when you got the American public being ready to settle for the same old stuff they've been settling for all along. And even less because the efforts of this evil voice has been able to spread and get established, it's like a cancer, in various organs of the institution of the nations, in southern states, in other states, changing rules and regulations to accommodate evil and ugliness to perpetuate itself over what's proper. And the Attorney General sitting back waiting, allowing all this to happen. You might ask yourself, why is this happening? Well, I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. For all of the various reasons that you can think of, that's why it's happening. For every last one of those reasons. Some more than others, but every last one of those reasons. Now, those guys who sponsored and supported the lie about this election, 20 presidential election, every last one of those guys who took an oath and went back saying this was, who played a part in what Trump was doing to this country, should be cast out of this government and never ever given an opportunity to get anywhere close to government again. And these people who are in power, in authority, and got a record of just lying should be brought out, and that should not be settled for. Now, you got my point of view on that. Now, what is this real thing about redistribution of wealth? When I say redistribution of wealth, I'm not talking about your money. Now, you can keep your money. I know how much you love your money. In fact, you can make a whole bunch more of it and stack it up. You know, get you some closets and just stack up all your money and all the money you can possibly get. Stack it up. But when it comes down to redistribution of wealth, I'm talking about those things that are really wealth. I'm talking about the resources of the earth. I don't care what government anywhere or this government. The truth of the matter is, yes, we are established. And we got our systems established. But our systems are not perfect. And those who came together to do what they did a good thing. I'm not going to try to take away from anything that they did, but it wasn't perfect. And whatever have existed to this point is imperfect. And it is imperfect because it does not meet the needs for which it was designed. Just as everybody that's human that lives or walks upon this earth, they also have the same right, just as much right as I'm sitting out here on this ground to food, just the same right that I have sitting out here on this here ground to clothing, the same right that I have sitting out here on this here ground breathing this air. They got the same right for education, the same right as I'm sitting out here under this tree with the sun glistening through those leaves right there for health care. They got the same identical rights. And no human being on earth got any business trying to deny anyone any of those, because the process is to include everybody in that manifestation, creating for the reservoir of good an abundance of those things that no one would ever have to suffer for a lack of anything. Their needs, their wants, and their desires are met. And nobody's having a problem with that, because in your engagement, you are using a career that gives you your greatest joy, the one that excites you, that allows you to be satisfied just by doing what you are doing, being you, because you are important and the whole world needs everything that you're doing. And guess what? You are benefiting from it. Now you are part owners of everything that is being created by the hands of man. And you don't owe any man anything but the joy that you get from doing what you do. And everything comes to you like heavenly. And that's a redistribution of wealth. It brings you peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life. Now, I guarantee you, my friends, can another person tell you how to do that? And I have just spoken to you about it. Now, I guarantee you, no politician can pick up on this, because they wouldn't know what they're talking about. And you, what are you going to do? You're probably going to let this just fly over your head. And you're going to go back there and keep on talking about Trump. When you stop talking about Trump, depending upon what happens, then you're going to start talking about the old mediocre status quo here in America and other stuff that happen around the world. It's time to really live. It's time to draw back your bow and let your arrow flow to your loving heart. Hey, baby, it's time for a brand new day. And yes, I'm talking about redistribution of wealth, but I'm not talking about your money. You can have it. We don't need it. Love is the name of this game. And ladies and gentlemen, what I'm telling you is that when people talk to you about this election coming up in 22, and they got all these evil people who are out there boldly saying that they are evil and asking you to put them in office, and you are walking around there saying, yeah, they're the people for you, that means you're sick. Basically sick. You know, they talk about being in a home or something like that. That's why people can continuously have guns walking the street, because it is the sick people that's out here running the show. So, what do you do about sick people? You don't beat them down. You understand, but you don't let them run anything. Why? You got to show them the way. They don't know. And if nobody knows, it shows. But if there's anyone that knows, it shows as well. So let us stop talking and let us start walking. I'll talk to you again. But yes, this basic human rights by Eddie Marcus for all people is basically about redistribution of wealth. You can keep your money though. We don't need it. Goodbye.